Emma Raducanu won the US Open as a qualifier and ranked 150 in the world before the event. No one expected Marion Bartoli to win Wimbledon in 2013. The same applies to Jelena Ostapenko's French Open triumph in 2017. Swiatek, Stevens, Pennetta, Rybakina and Krejcikova are some other names who really surprised the world with their first Grand Slam singles titles. But to me, the most special tennis miracle, where a true underdog surprisingly won a Grand Slam, is something else. What's up folks, my name is Tanel and today let's take a look at Goran Ivanisevic's miracle on grass. The Croat was one of the best grass court players in the 90s. Before 2001, Goran had reached 3 Wimbledon finals. He lost to Andre Agassi in 1992 and to Pete Sampras in both 94 and 98. 2 of those finals he lost in 5 sets. Goran, one of the greatest servers ever, struggled with shoulder injury after that 98 final and dropped down a lot in the rankings. It seemed like it was just never meant to be for him and the dream of winning Wimbledon was becoming quite improbable. Here's a little fun story which says a lot about the Wimbledon dream fading away for him. Goran played at the Brighton International in 2000 and got defaulted during a second round match. Why? Well, he smashed all 3 of his rackets and had none available to complete the match. After the match, Goran, who was well known for his temper on and off the court, told the press, "At least when I finish playing tennis, they'll remember me for something. They'll say, there's that guy who never won Wimbledon, but he smashed all his rackets." By the summer of 2001, the former world number 2 was ranked 125. This was not enough to earn him an automatic place in the main draw at Wimbledon. But given Goran's past record as a 3-time runner-up, he was awarded a wildcard for entry into the singles draw. The wildcard certainly wasn't given to him off of his recent form, considering that he had lost in the first round of qualifying at that year's Australian Open. Overall, he had only won 9 matches all year coming into the tournament. Ivanisevic's odds for a Wimbledon triumph were a whopping 150 to 1 before the event. In other words, the probability of Goran winning Wimbledon was 0.7%. Anyway, I'm not going to talk in detail about all of his matches before the final, but let's just list some of the players he beat. Former world number 1 Carlos Moya, 18-year-old future world number 1 Andy Roddick, and former US Open finalist Greg Rusedski. In the quarterfinals, Goran defeated world number 3 and reigning US Open champion Marat Safin. Yeah, obviously some of them weren't that good on grass and it wasn't their best surface, but they were still great wins. In the semifinals, Goran faced Tim Henman, who was seeded 6th and who in the quarterfinals beat Federer. Similarly to the previous matches, the Croat was an underdog. The crowd loved Ivanisevic's unlikely run, cheering his every shot in the previous matches. But as much as the crowd loved Ivanisevic, his semifinals opponent was unfortunately the hometown hero, who the crowd loved more than any Cinderella story. That match truly was an epic one. A rain-interrupted encounter that played out over 3 days, with Ivanisevic prevailing in 5 sets. When we went back into the locker room, I was very upset at the way I was playing. For half an hour I was very upset, but then I started to laugh. When it was announced that the match would be delayed, he would say, "From that moment I knew it was mine," Ivanisevic said some years later. He definitely got a help during that match from up above. I guess that's destiny. In the final, the tall left-handed Goran meet Pat Rafter, who in the semifinals beat Agassi in another epic 5-set match. Rafter is a former world number 1, 2 times US Open champion and also reached the Wimbledon final just a year before. So he too really deserved the Wimbledon title, at least in my opinion. The Aussie, with an awesome serve and volley game style, also seemed just a great guy and probably still is. Because of Ivanisevic's prolonged semi-finals match, the final would be delayed until Monday. The final was nicknamed the People's Monday because of this. Sounds cool, doesn't it? In the match, the momentum swung back and forth, with Ivanisevic winning the first and third set, and Rafter being the better player in sets 2 and 4. It felt like it was anyone's match. What I really liked from that match was the electrifying atmosphere, especially thanks to the ultra fans from Croatia and Australia. That kind of atmosphere isn't something we see very often at Wimbledon, and it was refreshing. Anyway, the fifth set was a true nail-biter. At times, Ivanisevic got in a bit of a trouble in his service games, but as always, he would lean on his huge serves to hold serve. Eventually, the Croat managed to break Rafter at 7-all, and after that, held his serve in a very tight game. And just like that, a genuinely classic final was over. Goran fell to the ground and started crying. It all was clearly and totally understandably overwhelming to him. It was just such a feel-good moment to see Ivanisevic finally achieving his dream. It was good that it was on a Monday because I lost 3 finals on Sunday. I had this runner-up plate at home. It's a nice plate, but you don't want to have that plate at home, Goran said after the match. Actually, I'm a bit surprised that Hollywood hasn't made a movie based on Ivanisevic's incredible path to glory. Goran's story is just a great one with a really beautiful ending. So that sums up the miracle on grass. Do you agree it being one of the most special moments in tennis history? Let me know in the comments. As always, thanks for watching and see you soon. Bye bye.